What is up? It's Figure Hunter, and today we're going to talk about something that was profound and had a significant impact on me from a video I saw from Dr. Peter Attia. So I follow his basic interviews and his podcasts and all the different things he does on YouTube. And I feel like he has a really good balanced approach to looking at things when it comes to longevity, when it comes to training, when it comes to physiology. So there was one part of one summary of a podcast, so it's that deep, like it was basically a summary of a more in-depth podcast he had done that had one singular point that I feel like has stuck with me and ruminated in the back of my mind and continues to reside there, so much so that I felt like I should make a point to reiterate it, share it, because I felt like it was that impactful or significant or profound. So as somebody over the age of 40, over the age of 50 specifically, as you get older, this is what Dr. Peter summarized from a interview he did, is that when we look at muscular retention and muscular strength as people, as we get past 50, we see this sort of steady decline until we sort of slump at the latest stages of life, more like a stone is what he says. So that's like the population demographic that you see this sort of slump. But what he said in the interview that was profound to him, that he has thought about over and over again for days and days, just like I have now, is that when you look at individual lives, it's not actually like that. It's actually more like a stair step in time as you get older. And that as you cross a certain stage, you have a stair step down, like a singular life event that causes you to take a step back, to not exercise, to not keep the muscle retention, to not activate the muscles. Some event that causes you to step down in your overall muscular build, stature, and strength, and you never recover it. So if you think about it in real life, like I've been battling a knee injury, which technically I apparently tore my ACL many years ago, and I've worn all the cartilage out around the knee. And so now, if I'm not careful, I did extra running in January, just a couple miles a day. That running caused arthritis in a knee that's been hard to get back and recover from. But I was going to take all this time off, and I've really wrestled with being able to sit and take time off. But what it stood out, and this is what he reiterated, is that you have to be hyper careful with time off training. So the biggest risk to doing this sort of decline, which for us individually is this sort of stair step down to where we never regain the muscular strength, stature, and capability from these lower levels. We never can go back up because we now are over 50. It is that much more challenging. The biggest risk is not training. So the biggest challenge is not stimulating the muscle, not pushing the muscle to maintain, and maybe even over the age of 50 with a lot of good health and a lot of good eating and a lot of good focus to be able to slightly grow the muscle. Growing the muscle is going to be harder, but the biggest risk for longevity and maintaining strength and capability is taking time off. And that, to me, obviously, in a world physiologically where we're like, rest is important, recovery is important, and those things are not untrue, but having periods of time, 2 weeks, 2 months, where you take significant time off is a major risk factor to never regaining the baseline strength that you once had. And that, to me, is something I felt like the world needs to know, or I should share. It's really just stuck with me. It's just been something I have felt and thought about a lot since I saw it on that podcast. So it's all in the description below. I'll put a timestamp or a literal listing of where to go. It's like 1550 or 1530 or something like that in the video itself to see this particular part. The video is just sort of a great smattering, across different things about protein types and things like that. But that was something I wanted to pass along because I felt like, especially for over 50, it is something to be acutely aware of, which also sort of ties into being careful, not getting injured, like the importance of not getting injured. I was actually going to go through ACL reconstruction, or maybe elective ACL reconstruction, which would have put me on the injury list, on the recovery list for a long time, which would put me at a great risk factor of never getting it back. So I'm so glad that I didn't, and the doctor said I shouldn't. So now we can, take all of it together and just realize that not taking time off, not being really careful about injury, things that might set you back, is really helpful to protecting that baseline strength, muscular stature, and capability that you have from not losing it as you age because of a stair step down that you never can regain from.